Sker Ritual is a new round-based zombies game that just came out and people are calling it the COD Zombies Killer. In this video, I'm going to be giving my general thoughts about the game, what I think they can improve on it, some of the positives, some nitpicks, and some other things that I want in the game to make it the best zombies game that it could be. First off, we're going to start with the positives of this game. It feels like a Treyarch game. It doesn't feel like some other studio tried to make a zombies game. It feels good. Gameplay, gunplay, perk systems, everything feels like a COD Zombies game. The best way I can put it is it feels like a massive custom zombies project on BO3. Let's start with the maps. All 4 maps that we have right now are really good. I do have some problems with one of them, but we'll get to that later on. Starting with the first map, Cursed Lands of Lavernok. It is dubbed the Kino of Sker Ritual. It is just the perfect all-around map. It's balanced extremely well and plays amazing. The wonder weapon on it is fun to use. There's really nothing wrong with the map. The second map, Ashes of Sker Hotel, is probably my favorite map in the game. It reminds me a lot of Mob of the Dead. The wonder weapon on it is extremely powerful. The map is very tight-knit corners. It takes place inside of a hotel. The wonder weapon fits perfectly with the design of the map. It is personally my favorite map. The third map, Shooters of the Dead, I'll get more into when I go through the negatives because it is the map I have the most issues with. The fourth and final map, the Fortress of the Deadly Lovers, is another really solid map. The theme and design are really cool. It is an old, run-down castle set in the mountains, very similar to Drak. One of my personal favorite things about the game is the weapons all feel good. There aren't really many weak weapons, except a few that we'll go into later on. They're all extremely strong. They're all really fun to use. When you pack-a-punch them, they constantly change. The appearance of them keeps changing. It keeps adding more pipes to them. It keeps adding more dials. They all look completely different from the first pack to the final pack, and it is extremely unique. There isn't another COD Zombies game that does that, and I'm really happy that there is something unique about it. It's not just camos. It is a complete physical change. One of the other systems that makes the game extremely unique is the Miracle system. It is a more roguelike leveling system where you get random perks that you get to choose from at the end of every couple of rounds, and they can either turn your weapons to shooting fire shots, poison shots. They can make your Molotovs turn into electric Molotovs. There's ones that boost your crit, boost your movement speed, and there are different builds that you can make around them. And you can get extremely powerful if you know how to build yourself. And you constantly keep getting them. You never hit a cap, really, until you're very, very late in the game, which is around 40. So there's always something to work towards. You're always getting stronger. The lore and storyline of the game is also really interesting. It takes place off an island in Wales and has a lot of folklore inspired into its story and world, and also some real-life elements in it too. I don't really want to get too far into the story for spoiler-wise, but it is very unique, and I recommend playing through the game for the story. I think that there are some things that they could make better. It seems like it's a bit too short, and a lot of it seems like it is in the lore note collectibles. I think if the game had more in-depth cutscenes, it would make the storyline feel a lot more fleshed out, but it still is very strong on its own without them. They also bring back the perk upgrade system from Cold War, and your perks start out really weak in this game. They do absolutely nothing in your first game, but once you start upgrading them, they become extremely strong. It takes everything Cold War did with its perk upgrades and just makes it feel better. It's just a percentile based, which is the one downside to it. It's not like you get unique effects. I do hope in the future they will add something like that, where different perks will add different effects when you max them out. But as for now, it just makes your jug stronger, makes your reload faster, all that, but it is nice to have persistent upgrades. I really enjoyed that in Cold War, and I think that is something that should continue to come back in Zombies. One of my other favorite things from the game is they give you really good Easter egg rewards. It's not like in the old games where you do the Easter egg and you get nothing, maybe a calling card, and if you did the super Easter egg, you would get a calling card and maybe an extra weapon in game like the RK5. When you complete all Easter eggs on a certain difficulty, you unlock a mask to wear that is unique for doing it. It is a crown, and the harder the difficulty that you do it on, the bigger and brighter and just cooler looking the crown gets. It reminds me a lot of the difficulty skulls that you could unlock in Payday 2, and it gives a good reward for doing the Easter eggs on the hardest difficulties. The dev team also is amazing with communication. It is a small indie dev team called Whales Interactive, and they actually listen to what the community has to say on the game, and they give constant updates in the Discord server, constant patch notes. If you need to know anything about the game, it will be in the Discord server. They will take your suggestions, you can upload and report bugs. They genuinely care about making the game good, and they remind me a lot of the Helldivers 2 dev team. Okay, now we're gonna get into some of my negatives. I do have a lot of negatives, but they are very easy things to patch out, and it just comes with the fact of it being a small dev team. That's mainly why these issues are there. My first one is there are a lot of bugs. I personally have run into a few bugs, a couple game-breaking ones. Like one of them, I picked something up and could not pull up my gun again until I ended the game. No matter what I would do, would not fix it, and I have had that glitch happen once personally, and it happened to one guy I was playing with in a game. A lot of people in the community are having bugs, especially on console. The game does run a lot better on PC, so if you are a console player, I would do your own research. I haven't played it on console, I can't really say, but I do see a lot of issues with Xbox players and PlayStation players in the Discord community, but they have already patched some of the game-breaking glitches that Xbox and PlayStation has, so they are working on it. It just will take time. I don't know how many devs they have, but it is a very small dev team for the scale of this game. One of the other big issues I have with the game is some of the mini-boss enemies are very unbalanced in the current state and need to be changed. One of them, the fire-exploding zombies, do way too much damage when they explode, and their range is massive. There have been times where I'm at 70 plus health, 10 feet away from him, I kill him, and he still kills me. I have been one-shot by them countless times, and it is the most frustrating thing to deal with. There is another mini-boss called the Baron, and he has a move that can one-shot you, and the range on it just feels bugged. There will be times where he'll hit me, and it barely does any damage. There will be times where I feel like I am too far away from him and he shouldn't be able to one-shot me, and he still does. I don't know if it's a glitch, I don't know if it's intended to one-shot, but it just makes fighting the Baron really frustrating, and he does reappear on the third map 3 times, so playing through the Easter egg on that map is kind of frustrating when it comes to that. My biggest issue with the game is that there is no red screen. The only way to tell how much health you have is to look at the health bar in the bottom left of your screen. There is too many times where I die thinking I am only at half health, only got hit a couple times, but I am one shot. It's too hard to look at the bottom left of your screen when you're surrounded by zombies to know when you're about to die, when you're trying to focus on getting out of the situation you're in. It just needs a bigger indicator. I have heard other people complain about this. It is definitely the worst thing about the game. It doesn't affect you that often, but when it does, it's awful, because you feel like you should have gotten out of the situation you're in, being trapped, running through a horde, anything, but you just don't, because you don't realize how weak you actually were because you're not watching your health bar. All that they need to add is a constant damage indicator depending on your health. This is one issue that I think only affects solo players, but when you're fighting a final boss or a big boss throughout the Easter egg, if you go down and use a self-revive, the boss resets health. There is no way to go down at a boss fight and then kill the boss after. You have to take out the entire health bar again, and it makes fighting some of the bosses infuriating, especially when you die to a one-shot by the Baron when he is 1 health away from dying, and you have to redo the entire fight. It puts you at a massive disadvantage when you revive yourself, and makes it a lot harder to finish the boss. This issue only affects multiplayer, but when you are down and someone is reviving you, you can still bleed out during the revive animation. It just needs to be tweaked to change that can't happen, because it just sucks when someone just came a second too late and the revive is about to finish, but you still bleed out. It happened to me a couple times when I played multiplayer. It's not a huge issue, you just gotta be on top of getting revives, but it just shouldn't happen, and it feels like you were cheated out of being revived. I think it also is too expensive to get your guns fully maxed out. Unless you're constantly getting half off drops, it will take you until around 35 to get a maxed out gun, especially if you are pack punching multiple guns. The first pack is 5,000, which is perfect. Second pack is 15. Third is 30,000 points. And then it just keeps getting more and more expensive. And the last two packs are ridiculous. I don't even remember how high they are, because in most games I play, I don't play for long enough to even get that many points. I think that if they tweaked it, just slightly lowered it, they have stated in the Discord server that it is an issue that they have been dealing with since the launch of the game, and they have changed it multiple times, and this is what the community agreed on was the best out of all the other systems they had. I still think it needs to be tweaked. I still think it's too high, especially when pack 4 to 5 doesn't feel like a huge jump in damage, but it was a ridiculous amount of points to spend just on upgrading your gun. I was also really disappointed in the hidden stories when they got released for the maps. I feel like a lot of the steps in the hard version of the Easter eggs are reused between maps. In every single map, the first step of the hard Easter egg is the exact same. You find the stranger and you shoot him 4 times. There is also, on each map, a lamb escort step. It makes it really annoying to do the hidden Easter eggs back to back when most of the steps are repeated through the maps, and each map only has 1 to 3 new steps added into it. It makes them feel bland, and it makes them blend together, and I wish that there was a little bit more uniqueness to them. And they also reused the same mini bosses in those Easter eggs a lot. In the final map, you fight the Baron 3 times in the normal Easter egg. You fight all the bosses from the last 3 maps again. In the hidden Easter egg, you fight all of those bosses again. In every map, the normal Easter egg, you fight the final boss. Then the hidden Easter egg, you fight a harder version of the boss. It doesn't feel like it's that much harder. It just feels like they have more health and more enemy spawns. I was very disappointed, to be honest, because I thought that the new bosses would have been really cool. I thought that we would have been fighting some of the mythical beasts and gods that we see throughout the story. And I hope that in the future, they will add different boss fights on new maps that don't just keep repeating. I also have a lot of issues with the map Sewer of the Dead. I feel like whenever I play it, it just doesn't flow very well. The wonder weapon on that map, the Plague, is one of the worst wonder weapons in COD Zombies history. It does fucking nothing to the zombies. It has a terrible spread, it is really hard to hit zombies with it, and the bullets drop off ridiculously fast. It is awful to use, and it is forced on you to take. You need to use it to open up half of the doors on the map, and it just makes playing that map feel dreadful. It is also the map that I have the most clipping issues on. There is a staircase that you have to go up and down a lot when you're playing the game, especially doing the Easter egg, because it's in the central area, and there is a specific corner on the staircase that I get stuck on every single time I walk up that staircase. And it just makes the map feel too condensed. It is already a very tight-knit map. I feel like the spawns are very slow on the map, especially when the round starts, and then they pick up extremely fast and catch me off guard a lot, especially when doing one of the steps on the Easter egg where you have to defend a moving object. It's a huge pace breaker too during the Easter egg because of that step. You are constantly waiting at least 30 to 40 seconds before a majority of the zombies spawn in that area. It is definitely my least favorite map out of all 4. It's the only one I really don't play, and I hope that they can fix some of the issues on it. It's mainly just layout for me, so I don't think I'll ever really like the map. But I do know people who love the map. It's their favorite to play. I have talked to multiple people in the server who really enjoy the map. So it is mainly subjective, but that's just how I feel on the map. I just wish it was a little bit better. So this is just some of my nitpicks. These are complaints, but they're not big. They're just stuff that I think only affects me. Most people won't complain about this. This doesn't affect really any of the gameplay. This doesn't ruin the game. It's just stuff that when you play the game for a while, this stuff will start to drag in your head. The first one is the special zombies do get pretty annoying after playing the game a lot. I feel like a lot of them get reused and some of them are on too many maps. I think if they split and decided that these special zombies are only on these maps, it would make them feel a lot more unique. It would make the maps feel better, and they would feel different because you're not just seeing the same special zombies on every single map. You know, if you're playing this map, you are only going to see these ones. That's what makes it unique. One other nitpick I do have is I think that the cosmetic DLC is way too expensive for what it is. All that it adds is a new background, a new mask, a new audio line, a new song to play on the menus, and a new player icon. And they are $5.99 Canadian. And there are, I think, 10 of them around. There are a lot of DLC packs that you can buy. I think they are just a bit slightly too expensive for what they are. I think that $3.99 or $2.99 would be better priced for what they are. But at the same time, the devs do need to keep making money off this game. I get that it's expensive to make a game and they need to see money coming in somewhere, because the game sales are not enough. I personally haven't bought any yet. If you do want to support the game more, definitely buy them. It is probably a massive help to the devs. They do give them away in the Discord a lot, so that does make it not a huge issue for me. But I just wish that they were slightly cheaper. I don't feel like they're gouging you for it, and they're not pay to win, so it's not a huge deal. But it is just a bit pricey, and it's not something that I will really buy all of them. There are a couple I might eventually buy. They're still nice, and I'm glad that it exists. So that is all of my thoughts on the game. Right now, I want to go over things that I think the game needs to succeed in the future, and things that I personally want to see. The biggest thing that I want to see is mod support. I think custom maps and custom mods will make this game live on for years. It will do the same thing it did for BO3, and the fact that BO3 hasn't died yet is only because of mods. This game needs mods at least in the next 2 years, or it will die like every zombie game. One of the other things I think the game needs is it needs more maps. I think 4 is an amazing amount of maps to start, but we need to have a DLC cycle with a season pass, because 4 maps is not a lot to survive for a long time. I think if this game gets 1 or 2 season passes with 4 maps each, it will make the game live a lot longer. Another thing that I want them to add is more character customization. The only thing that you can customize right now is your character's mask. I think that if they had added outfit customization and outfits you could even buy in the store, I think that would be a lot more worth it for the money than just a mask, and I would consider spending money on that. But it just will make you feel more unique. They could add in rewards for doing certain things in the game to unlock them, to show off that you've done them, like you do with the masks, but just to more of an extent. I also want to see a mastery camo system, and possibly a gunsmith. I don't think the weapons really need attachments in the state that they're in, but I think it would be cool to at least add sights, maybe fast mags, or maybe extended mags for some of the guns. I also think that a camo system would be really good in the game to incentivize you to use all the other weapons. I find that when I play through the game, I usually just stick with a double barrel shotgun because it is personally my favorite and it is really strong, and I don't find myself switching up guns like I would be if there was something to unlock by using the other guns. And with the theming of the game, they could make some really cool custom camos. That is also another way for them to monetize the game by selling camos to make the DLC packs that they sell even more worth your money. I also really want to see some more Easter eggs, not just big storyline Easter eggs. I want small Easter eggs. I want music Easter eggs, like maybe a perkaholic Easter egg you do, or just really anything, something to get you a free pack-a-punch, maybe a free miracle, the same stuff that Treyarch Zombies had to make the maps feel unique and give them the life that they did. I think that this game is missing that, just like Cold War was. And that was one of my big issues with Cold War. So I hope that that will change in the future. I think it also needs more perks. Currently, we only have 5. We have Jug, we have Stamina, we have Double Tap, we have Speed Cola, and Electric Cherry. And they're all really solid versions of the perks. It is leaked in the game files that Mule Kick might be coming. I think that would be a good addition, but I still want more perks. I think that they could add in a lot of brand new perks that we haven't seen yet in the series and give their own unique identity to the perk system in this game. Even if they bring more perks from zombies into this, it would still just be nice. I love having a lot of perks. It just makes you feel powerful. There are, like, some perks I would add would be a sliding perk, like PhD Slider. I think would work really well considering there is sliding in this game. Just something new to freshen up the perk system and make it more unique, because it just feels like the basic Cold War perks ported over. There's nothing special about them yet. They do what you expect them to do. They just don't add any extra abilities or anything like that. So the other thing that I think they really need to add, and I don't know if they're working on it, I don't want to say too much and make people think that they are working on it, but I really want PS5 crossplay. I have a lot of friends on PlayStation who would love this game. I recommended it to them. They most likely won't buy it because I can't play it with them. And if they do buy it, then that forces me to buy the game again on PlayStation just to play it with them. And then I have to redo everything. I have to re-upgrade my perks. I have to re-level up. I have to redo the Easter eggs because there's no cross-progression either. I think that PlayStation needs cross-play and cross-progression in the future. I know that it's not really something the devs can control, from what I understand. It is a Sony issue, and the dev team is just too small to pay the fee that Sony needs you to have to do crossplay, because Sony is apparently really scummy when it comes to that. And that's something I really hope we get done in the future. I don't know if I have hopes for it, so if you are on PlayStation and want to play with your Xbox friends, and you have a PC, I would maybe say buy it on PC before you buy it on PlayStation, just to be safe. Hopefully they add it. You never know. I don't want to give everyone hope and say, yeah, they're working on it, because I have no clue. From what it seems like, it is a likely possibility, but it's just going to take a lot of time. So that's my general thoughts on the game. Those are my general thoughts on the game. I think that this game can compete with COD Zombies in the future, especially if they add in new maps and add in mod support. They really just have to do general patching to the game to make the game in a very good state, but it's just future-proofing the game, really, making sure that they still release content and don't just abandon the game. That's the main thing, because with the way COD Zombies is going, if Gulf War isn't good, the community is gonna take another massive dip like we did during BO4 and during Vanguard. And I think that this game can bring back life to the Zombies community, and this is the game that we have been needing for a couple years. It is, in my opinion, the best game we have gotten since Cold War. I would say it's just as good as AW and World War II Zombies. If you like those games, you will like this. I think if you're a Treyarch fanboy who only plays Treyarch games, you might not really like this game, but it still is good, and I think it is worth your time to at least look into, because it is something the community needs. We need a new game to rival COD Zombies, to make it so that we're not just stuck in this loop of buying the new COD every year just for Zombies, just to be disappointed not playing it throughout the year, and then getting hyped up again a couple months before the next game, because that's happened to me multiple times, and that's happened to the entire community. So I really, really hope this game does well. It already is doing amazing. Since the game hit its 1.0 launch, the Discord has grown from like 2,000 people to 10,000 plus. There are a lot of people interested in this game, and I'm very glad to see it. Well, let me know of your guys' opinions on the game if you've played it, or if you are going to pick it up. I will be leaving a link to buy the game on Steam in the description. But that's all for today. If you liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.